Can this key NATO nation withstand a potential Russian assault, or are serious vulnerabilities beginning to emerge? A startling new reality comes to light as nearly 70% of Germans reportedly question whether their military can defend the country. Has the growing threat from Vladimir Putin fueled public anxiety, leaving many Germans increasingly doubtful about their military's readiness? Despite Germany's renewed push to strengthen its armed forces, public confidence in the military continues to remain deeply divided. A key NATO military power is facing growing questions over the strength of its armed forces as concerns continue to rise across Europe over the perceived threat posed by Russia. A majority of Germans reportedly doubt that their country's military is capable of defending the nation effectively in the event of a potential armed attack. A YouGov survey found that 70% of respondents expressed little or no confidence in Germany's armed forces, reflecting widespread public concern about the military's readiness. According to RT News, the poll surveyed 2,079 adults across Germany between June 17 and July 1 to gauge public confidence in the country's defense capabilities. Among the 7 countries included in the survey, Germany recorded the lowest level of public confidence in its military, placing it at the bottom of the rankings. Only the United States and France recorded majority public confidence in their armed forces, with more than half of respondents in those countries expressing trust in their military's ability to defend the nation. Germany has announced plans to significantly increase its defense spending as part of a broader effort to strengthen its military capabilities and improve national security. Berlin aims to expand the size of its active-duty armed forces from around 183,000 personnel to approximately 260,000 troops in the coming years. The German government also plans to build a reserve force of 200,000 personnel to reinforce the military and enhance the country's long-term defense readiness. However, with the war in Ukraine showing no signs of ending, Germany continues to struggle with recruiting enough personnel to fill its military ranks and meet its ambitious expansion goals. Germany is struggling to attract enough volunteers for deployment near Russia's borders. Officials say recruitment targets remain difficult to achieve. The brigade forms part of Germany's broader military expansion plan in Eastern Europe. The initiative is intended to strengthen NATO's eastern flank. The unit is expected to reach full operational readiness by the end of 2027 with nearly 4,800 soldiers. Current plans call for a substantial increase in personnel over the coming years. Officials say around 1,800 personnel are currently stationed with the brigade. Thousands of positions are still vacant and awaiting recruitment. Personnel shortages are most severe in specialist roles, including IT, reconnaissance, and engineering units. These positions are considered critical to the brigade's effectiveness. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius said operational readiness will take priority over voluntary service if necessary. He emphasized the importance of meeting military requirements. Germany's military leadership has warned that compulsory measures could be considered if volunteer numbers remain insufficient. The comments have intensified debate over future recruitment policies. A major recruitment campaign included barracks tours and organized trips for soldiers and their families. The effort was designed to encourage more personnel to join the deployment. Reports indicate that the campaign has failed to fully close the brigade's personnel gaps. Recruitment challenges continue despite the outreach efforts. Berlin is building up the 45th Armored Brigade as a flagship military unit based in Lithuania. The formation is expected to play a central role in regional defense planning. The unit, activated in 2025, represents Germany's first permanent foreign deployment since World War II. Its establishment marks a significant shift in German military policy. The brigade is stationed near the Belarus border and close to Russia's Kaliningrad region. The location is considered strategically important by NATO planners. German officials say the country must be prepared for the possibility of a conflict with Russia by 2029. They argue that readiness efforts cannot be delayed. Moscow has criticized NATO's expansion and accused Berlin of pursuing what it describes as revanchist militarization. Russian officials have repeatedly voiced opposition to the deployment. Russia says it has no intention of attacking NATO countries, but continues to warn against what it views as Western escalation. The Kremlin argues that further military buildup increases regional tensions. Hundreds of demonstrators marched through central Munich, calling for the resignation of Chancellor Friedrich Merz and expressing dissatisfaction with the German government's current policies. Merz took office in May 2025 after promising to revive Germany's stagnant economy, strengthen growth, and address mounting economic challenges facing the country. Protesters accused the government of prioritizing higher military spending and defense commitments over social welfare programs, arguing that greater attention should be given to the needs of ordinary citizens. Around 40% of Germans said they believe the country is spending too little on defense, indicating support for strengthening the nation's military capabilities. However, 77% of respondents opposed raising taxes to finance military expansion, reflecting strong public resistance to bearing the additional financial burden. A further 62% rejected the idea of cutting public services in order to increase defense spending, suggesting that social welfare remains a higher priority for many citizens. Meanwhile, 59% said they were against increasing government borrowing to fund military spending, highlighting concerns about the long-term economic impact of higher public debt. Protesters carried German flags and banners bearing slogans such as "Merz must go" and "No war with Russia," reflecting growing public opposition to the government's current policies. Demonstrators also criticized Germany's continued political and military support for Ukraine, arguing that Berlin should place greater emphasis on domestic priorities instead. The protest comes ahead of 3 state elections scheduled for September, with the demonstrations adding to political tensions during an important period for Germany's regional politics. A recent opinion poll placed the alternative for Germany ahead of the Christian Democratic Union in Saxony-Anhalt ahead of the September 6 state election, highlighting shifting voter sentiment in the region.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Have you ever wondered what happens when a banking dynasty meets tides of world history, intrigue, and a dash of myth?
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.